Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day. I have another awesome quality story from my audience, so let's get into it. So, we used to have, we at one time, this is at our old place, we used to have a really big backyard. Like, it was from the olden days. This house was obviously from the olden days. You could tell just by looking at it. But it was a really cool house. Um, Apparently, I found out from a few people that the house that we were living in used to be a store. Used to be where the house was built. There used to be a store there where he sells mats and stuff. It was really cool. Um, so yeah, we thought that was really cool. We learned something new about history. It used to be a store before it became a house. And when we were living there, there was a we had a somewhat of a nice neighbor. She kept to herself. She was pretty good, you know. She wasn't a bad lady by any chance. She was very nice actually. Um, she ended up having animals in her backyard, so like chickens and stuff and roosters and stuff. And she'd always go out there and she'd do gardening and take care of her chickens and feed them and stuff. And she'd take the eggs, right? She'd get eggs. Well, there's a lot of good things and bad things about having neighbors that have roosters and chickens. The downfall is, guess what? You don't get to sleep in because the chickens are up making loud noises at like 6, quarter to 7 o'clock every morning. So it's hard to get to sleep. So we were always up early. Eventually you could go back to sleep, but it'd be hard if you're the type of person that's already up. It's hard to go back to sleep. But yeah, it was pretty cool. There was so many times where we were worried because somehow the chickens got out. They had like a chicken coop thing, in the backyard, but somehow the chickens are pretty clever, end up finding a way to get out. So we would have to let the neighbor know. Sometimes they would answer, sometimes they wouldn't. And we didn't want to go in the backyard or anything because we didn't want to get in trouble or get in trouble for trespassing. So we just leave it until hopefully the lady would find it. Luckily, the chicken never got like ever got lost or anything. It never got out of the backyard or anything. So they would go back and fix it and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Um, we actually used to get we actually used to get free eggs. This neighbor used to give us free eggs. My one parent ended up getting an argument with his neighbor one time. Because we were worried about her chickens. Her chickens were like out of her, and there was more than one. There was like three or four. We were worried, so we knocked on the door, and the lady looked out the window but ignored it when we were trying to. And my one parent got really mad at that, saying, we're trying to just help you, lady. We're trying to help you. Your chickens are out, this and that, and we basically said, why'd you ignore the door? That's not very nice. And she said it rudely, saying, well, I don't know who's coming to the door. I don't know you guys. And it's like, and then she started saying, how do you know you're not here to break into my house or something? And we're sitting there, we're like, what? We're just here to do this and that. And obviously it was a lot louder words said and stuff. I'm saying in the calmest way I can what was been said. And then pretty much after that, the lady was like, I think she thought about it and I think she realized that she was in the wrong. We're neighbors. We're just there to help her. We neighbors help out with neighbors. We weren't there to hurt her or bother her in any way. We're very respectful neighbors. We just wanted to let her know that her eggs are out because we care. We care about our neighbors, right? We care about a community. We just want her to know, you know what I mean? Everyone looks out for everyone, Everyone gets along. And it's good that way because that's normally how it is. Every neighbor looks out for each other. We help out each other. That's when things are good, right? Neighbors hang out with neighbors, stuff like that. Socialize. And then pretty much after that, She collected some eggs, and she wrote a note, I guess, to my parent. I guess it was towards my parent, and it said on the letter something like, "I'm sorry for being rude and ignoring the door. I'm sorry. I hope these eggs, you can use them for a nice meal or two," or something like that. She wrote something really nice or something like that. And then pretty much after that, we never really had issues with the neighbor. She wasn't a bad neighbor. She was kind of calm. She was kind of calm, collective neighbor. She kept to herself. She was one of the hardworking neighbors. Yeah, maybe they did stuff a little differently, but at the end of the day, they were nice, respectful neighbors, and they work hard. They do a lot of gardening. We used to watch them. We used to talk to them. They used to do really cool gardening and really nice gardening and stuff. It was pretty cool. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. And we'd always get eggs like once in a while. She'd, bring over eggs and stuff. And the eggs are good. There was nothing wrong with the eggs. We end up having eggs. Um, you know, Sometimes doing eggs that way is probably cheaper than actually buying them from the grocery store. But there is a whole process of that because you gotta have, yeah. So it all depends on the person and their opinion. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Um, we had a big backyard. I always had to cut the grass and stuff and keep it clean. You know, and it was like clockwork. Every day the chickens would wake up at a certain time and wake everybody up. That's the only downfall. But other than that, it was pretty cool. Everyone's getting along. You just say, "Hey neighbor," you have nice conversation. You could like check on the chickens. The one downfall with that is there was one time our cat ended up getting out and wanted to I guess I guess say hi to the chickens or something. We noticed in the nighttime we noticed glowing lights, and we noticed our cat got out. So we had to go over there and get our cat, and it went and it kind of wanted to, I guess, see the chickens, or I don't know why, but it did. It ran out. Normally the cats don't run out, so I'm surprised the cat ran out because normally the cats are scared to go outside, you know. So yeah, thank you for listening to my story, everyone. I hope my audience can relate to my story in some sort of way. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. I will see you tomorrow with another awesome quality video. Goodbye, everyone.